All right, so I just registered a brand new domain for a brand new niche site that I'm going to start in 2022. So I thought that would make a great time to do a YouTube video about how to pick a blogging niche or a niche for a new niche site. So I've taken several niche sites to over $10,000 per month over the last 7 or 8 years now, and I'm going to try to do it with this one as well. So in this video, I just want to talk about 5 things to look for when entering a new niche, whether it's with a blog or a niche site. So I build all of my sites, obviously with SEO in mind first. I don't really use social media. That's just the way that I like to do my sites. So number 1 is SEO competition, okay? What other sites are out there in this niche? Who else is ranking on Google? Because at the end of the day, SEO is a competition, right? Google is only showing at most 10 results for each keyword that's entered into Google on page 1. So we're competing with other sites for every single post that we publish. So obviously we want to see some low competition sites in the niche. So what I like to see are non-branded and low DA sites ranking for multiple keywords that I'm looking at when I'm doing my niche research. Okay, so non-branded sites, meaning not huge authority sites like NerdWallet or Men's Health, and of course low domain authority. So if we can see some sites with a DA, I don't know, a 40 or lower ranking, again, for multiple keywords when we're doing kind of our initial keyword research, then that's usually a decent sign that it's a low to at least medium competition niche. So just thinking about 2 examples, right? So an obvious, very difficult niche to enter would be the health niche. That's arguably one of the hardest niches to enter for a new site or a new blog, right? Because when you think about it, if you Google kind of any health related keyword that you could write an article about, you're going to see huge brands ranking on page 1 like Healthline and WebMD and Mayo Clinic and so on and so forth. So again, just to illustrate the point, that would obviously be way too competitive. I mean, you could probably never, frankly, create a site in the health niche to compete with those sites. So we would never want to enter a niche like that. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, take a niche like taking care of your fish, right? Which was a niche that popped up when I was doing my initial research. This is not the niche that I'm going after, by the way, but I saw a few sites with DAs maybe in the 30s and 40s that were ranking consistently on page 1 for multiple keywords. These were not big brand sites, right? These were clearly niche sites or niche blogs started by people like you and me, and they were able to see success with their SEO ranking on page 1. So that's an example of a type of niche that I would like to go after. All right, so number 2 is monetization, right? What is the potential for making money with this niche? And I've kind of been changing my tune a little bit lately, whereas it used to be, I used to go heavy on the affiliate type keywords. With this new niche site that I'm starting now, my goal is to have a potential to make at least $5,000 per month just in ad revenue. Okay, so $5,000 per month just in ad revenue. And any income that I can make with affiliates, whether that's on Amazon or some other affiliate, or even with an email list selling a potential ebook or digital product down the line, I would treat that income, again, for this specific site that I'm creating, kind of as just icing on the cake. So Google has gotten a little stricter with affiliate or review keywords, and I can link to a video above that I did about that, where they're getting, again, a little stricter on creating that affiliate type content that us niche site creators love to create for affiliate income. So for this specific niche that I'm going with, again, my goal is to create a ton of informational content that's not focused specifically on affiliates, and to monetize that eventually with an ad network like Mediavine or even AdThrive. So again, $5,000 per month potential just with ads. All right, the third thing that I'm looking for when I started this new niche site is outsourcing the content. Okay, so I do not like writing. I certainly will not like writing for this specific niche. So it's absolutely crucial that I'm able to easily outsource the content to a freelance writer or maybe a writing agency. Okay, so there's pros and cons of both of those, working directly with a writer or working with an agency who kind of takes care of all of the back and forth work. But either way, the niche that, again, that I'm going with right now needs to be outsourceable, because I don't want to write any of the content myself. So I need to be able to hand it off easily to someone else. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with this niche site. Now, of course, the downside of outsourcing your content is that you have to pay for it, right? Whether it's 5 cents a word or 10 cents a word or more or less, whatever you're paying, you obviously have to have an investment into that content. The upside of outsourcing your content is that you can create content a lot faster, which we'll talk about. And of course, I don't have to spend my time researching and creating this content. Okay, so you either can spend your time or you can spend your money when creating your content for your niche site. This example, I'm obviously going to spend my money because I don't want to write any of the content, but this specific niche is outsourceable in that way. All right, number 4 is it has to be a non-E.A.T niche. Now, most of you guys know E.A.T is expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. In other words, Google treats certain niches a little differently in terms of kind of the standard of the quality of the content. For example, in the health niche, right, that's a high E.A.T niche. Google wants to see true certified experts writing health content, right? And so I don't want to go into a niche that is high E.A.T for a couple reasons. Number one is it's already competitive as it is, like health, just strictly on the competition level. And then number 2, going back to what we just talked about, when you're outsourcing content, if you're in a high E.A.T niche, then you need to find a true expert in your field to create that content. And that's going to get very, very expensive. So for this specific niche site, it is obviously not an E.A.T niche. And just generally speaking, I like to look for hobby niches where any everyday person can be a quote unquote expert and write about that topic. For example, skateboarding might be a niche where you can find a writer who has experience with skateboarding and then they can write content about that. Paintballing might be another one where you can find someone to write content and research content around paintballing, but Google's not going to treat that as an E.A.T niche, which makes it a lot less competitive. All right, and number 5 is the niche scalable? In other words, can we publish a lot of content in this niche? Now remember, I said I wanted to get this to at least $5,000 per month just with ads, and that's going to take a lot of page views. And in order to get a lot of page views, generally speaking, we need a lot of content. So for this specific niche, I was looking for an area where we could publish at least around 500 posts, over a certain amount of time. But this is not a niche where, there's only 100 or 150 opportunities to publish content. I wanted it to be scalable in terms of content creation. So when you're publishing, hopefully 500 pages, it helps to have people helping you out. So I mentioned having a freelance writer or a writing service to write the content, but I also have a VA or a virtual assistant who helps me with the keyword research, with creating outlines for my writer, posting the content on the back end of WordPress, putting images in, adding the category, all that back end WordPress stuff. So we have a system going where it's constantly humming and I don't really have to do much in the background except, of course, pay for their time, right? So generally speaking, I'm picking out the keyword. I'll do the keyword research. I hand that keyword off to my VA. She'll then go and do a little research on, what's ranking in Google, what type of content is ranking in Google. She'll put together a detailed outline for my writer, who will then obviously write the post. My VA will take that draft from Google Docs and then again, do all that back-end WordPress stuff and publish the post to the site without me even really being involved at all. So when you're trying to scale a site up to 500 plus pieces of content, it definitely helps to have some people helping you out, but having a scalable niche for me was super important. All right, guys, I hope that video was helpful. If you liked it, do me a favor, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about picking a niche in the comments below. Thanks, guys.